Welcome in to the latest episode of Betting the Pitch Presents and Major League Baseball podcast. I'm your host, _G Warner, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube, where you can find this podcast. I'm joined, as always, by at A Brooks Bets.
And we are going
we were 0-1-1 on our last episode. At A Brooks Bets took a push on an over in Philadelphia. I rode the Martin Perez Express straight into the tank. Unfortunately, I feel like the luster coming off good old Martin. Andrew, how are you feeling on this Tuesday, May 14th? Are you ready to continue our winning record in this podcast this season?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And all that stuff.
I'm ready. If you notice something a little different.
I went camping this weekend.
Short sleeves
watched baseball for
up here
2 days.
in upstate New York.
The
first time I've got short sleeves on.
I'm seeing
the weather's getting warmer.
It's a long
Ball's gonna
season.
start flying.
You know,
I don't know what that means, but
it's very
my microclimate. I'm
it's
happy. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's hope balls need to start flying because every game it's the first team that gets the 4 runs seems to win, unless I bet it, and then my 95% win probability seems to lose. However, a 6-0 lead was just enough for the Cleveland Guardians tonight. So we are full of positivity heading into this Wednesday, May 15th baseball card. And we're going through each of the games. We'll come up with our best bets end of show. If you're not following the podcast or subscribe to it on YouTube, please do so at @real_G Warner. On Betting the Pitch, it could be found on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you leave us a 5-star review and it's related to this baseball podcast, I'll have the best reading voice in the biz at A Brooks Bets. Maybe even act it out if it's something that you'd like.
I can do impressions. Let me know.
Total here is 7.5.
Just ask at A Brooks Bets to read it like one of the CBS fantasy guys that don't play for any money.
Leaving Miami. What do we think about Freddie Peralta's recent struggles? Because you have a ticket on him to.
All right, we'll start.
Try to find tidbits on every corner of the internet, and then you hear that, and you're just like, "Oh man, what I've been."
Yeah,
what have I been listening to? Okay, all right.
Striking out.
Well, at this point, I can guarantee you that I unfortunately am betting a lot of these games that have 95 or higher percent win probabilities that lose, and I am mad about it still, even when I wake up the next morning. So I can guarantee you that I am riding along with you, and as is at A Brooks Bets. So we'll start with another Martin Perez. I mean, you couldn't even draw this up. It's not even. There we go. It's not even possible, as I'm alerted by my sports book that I have been logged out. I guess they don't want to take any more winners. We'll start with Pittsburgh visiting Milwaukee. Martin Perez, who starting to get that whip starting to climb, looking a little bit scary. He's facing Robert Gasser. Seems like
I've never heard of this guy. That's probably good news for your Martin Perez train. Like Bobby Gass,
7.5.
Well, that's good name. Never heard of him.
He supposedly has a nice slider. Doesn't throw gas like the name would suggest. Currently, Milwaukee minus 135 favorite at BetOnline. If you're not a member at BetOnline or Sportsbetting.ag, their sister site, there are links in the podcast description on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and on Spotify to go get some free money for your first-time deposit at either of those sites. Go take advantage of that. But getting back to this number, Milwaukee minus 135 at home, totals 8.5. That I want to back pretty heavily to under. What say you about this one?
Didn't do it.
So I did something a little crazy actually.
After
I bet the Pirates' future to win the World Series.
So
I got a little excited about Paul Skeens. This is obviously not Paul Skeens' game, but maybe seeing him and Jared Jones. I mean, maybe hopefully their TJs stay intact this entire season
for Miami. Next to San Diego.
To be honest, it was
King went to a great high school.
I know this is a baseball podcast, but I bet the Nuggets to win the NBA championship at 16-1 once they fell down 2-0, and then I parlayed it with the Pirates. I bet the Nuggets straight
still don't believe
16-1. They're now, by the way, I think
Cincinnati can hit very
plus
well,
400 or something.
And we've seen King dominate the Dodgers and get pummeled.
But I parlayed it too at 16-1. I thought, whatever, we'll take a couple flyers, and now that was 2,000-1 once you parlayed them together. So it was kind of like a mini. A mini bet on the Pirates, but
the Reds just took a game 2-0 at home.
So that I don't know if you saw Paul Skeens, but he's
again baseball's
that dude throws 102, and
you think Great American
he's electric.
Ballpark, and you think,
we just saw Mason Miller close out a game. in a game just like that today. The last 2 innings of a game, I don't think he closed it, but he was in a tie game 1-1 against the Astros, and he struck out 5 out of 6 guys. I was so disappointed in the pop out to right that he gave up.
Or 5 for 5.
So these guys are bringing heat, and they have serious sliders.
4 stolen bases.
That's neither here nor there. That's one game.
It's not. Let's come back. Let's come back to these.
That's my thought on the Pirates in general. Okay, that's like let's get the Bucko train rolling.
Okay,
he still hits the ball hard.
I don't know if it's going to be now. I never heard of Bobby Gasser, so we're gonna go Pirates since they're a dog.
If he hits,
I know they're on the road, and the Brewers are actually one of the best teams in the league.
He's in the lineup, and if
as far as against the spread, so I looked up who's the most profitable teams to bet on so far. It has been the
first with 1 out or a runner
Washington Nationals.
Yeah, wow, good timing for me.
Brewers are top 5, so
this is a
I know I'm
road. This is a
probably
home dog,
going against a little bit. I love Freddie Peralta, and I love a bunch of the guys on their team.
Win tonight 2-0, like I just mentioned.
I'll bet the Pirates is an underdog. I guess I'm not going to actually bet it on a game by game basis on this one, but
again, or if that's where all the strikeouts.
I like the underdog.
You can give what you like. I mean, I like Pittsburgh here as well. I think Martin Perez.
I'll take the Reds.
He's just going to have these things. It's what happens to him. He's pretty much always an underdog. Never expected to pitch well, but he's always going to keep you in a game.
Anything at all
it might be a bullpen war at plus 124 on Pittsburgh. Might be worth it. I don't see a lot of runs this one on getaway day game, so I might like under 8.5 most in this one. Moving next to Cincinnati, visiting Arizona. Andrew Abbott at Brandon Pfaadt.
Doubleheader
looks like Pfaadt minus 138 favorite at home. Totals 8.5, just a little bit more to over. Andrew Abbott, hard to really trust him, especially in another big hitter's park. But what's a hitter's park nowadays anyway, considering how dead the baseball is or how wide the strike zones are, is pretty much what I was staring at all night tonight, and every time I watch a baseball game now. Could be useful for Brandon Pfaadt, though I feel like he's been very consistent so far. Are you a believer that Brandon Pfaadt, with his huge strikeout numbers, is that just a minor league thing? Is he not going to be able to do that in the bigs?
To click on the links in the podcast description on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify.
Maybe not right now, not in the immediate future.
First time depositor.
But I mean, didn't we talk about the Reds and the Diamondbacks last week? I feel like they did. They flip-flopped. So now they're like in Arizona. It's a weird scheduling thing with MLB. We'll get to that later.
Tailing off a little bit.
The Red Sox, which is a strange stat that I'll get to you.
Like
but
dominant pitcher.
The Reds are an underdog against the Diamondbacks.
The question is, and San Francisco versus Pittsburgh. Which lineup do you like better?
I sound like a broken record because you guys played the last time we had this podcast last week, but
this one,
they're both disappointing teams to me so far.
I just watched.
I don't really know where to lean, but I'm going to again go with the underdog. I'm going to go with the team you're giving me plus money for.
Jumping for joy.
I don't disagree. I was very close to back Cincinnati on yesterday. That'd be Monday night.
I mean,
probably would have thrown my laptop off the balcony because they blew a save in the ninth. They also, and that would have been
Edwin.
Now,
no, sorry,
both Diaz. Both Diaz. So both Diaz would have cost me $1,000. That would have been a really nice night for the Diaz family and my general feelings towards. Are they Puerto Rican, right?
But he was on my list.
But anyway, I think maybe Dominican.
So much that
I don't know.
Alexis Diaz.
Yeah, Alexis Diaz and Edwin. Yeah, I was guessing where they're from in general because I think if I was a fan of their World Baseball Classic team, I would
I feel like they're too cheap.
I think Cincinnati is starting to look like one of the worst teams in baseball. I gotta say, I know it's tough for you to hear with your Ellie De La Cruz sunglasses on. Actually, if you're watching us live on video, there's no sunglasses available, but they're probably within just a few steps of A. Brooks Betts gambling control center over there in Syracuse area, New York. We'll move to Colorado, visiting San Diego. Austin Gomber at Michael King, who went to a really great high school. Might have been mine in Rhode Island. And he's a 241 favorite at home after a really good start against the Dodgers. I'm not a believer, but I mean,
still I can't understand.
It's good for the high school. We got manager of the Twins, which is probably not a good thing because most people hate Rocco Baldelli. But then Michael King gets to pitch against the worst team in baseball teams, or one of the worst. Total here is 7, just all the way to over. And the ball flies in San Diego on getaway days, or at least on days. What do we think about this one?
In Statcast history? So he might be.
Yeah, I mean the Rockies
hitting the ball
are
pretty dang hard. It
terrible.
Sounds crazy,
but this line seems to be appropriately priced, right? Like I don't think that Michael enough price that I might even take a flyer on the Rockies. These are games that you don't really expect to win, but if you want to dabble in the underdog, this is a good spot to do it. I think. I mean,
straight face. At Justin Steele, we got
Freedom. It's a 2-1 price, and you don't often get that in baseball. And I don't think that the Padres. I mean, tonight Dylan Cease is going.
So I guess we could use that total of 9.
Dylan
But Max Fried has been
the
awesome
most starts
as of late.
of any
Quietly, the Atlanta
pitcher
Braves
in
have
baseball
not been hitting
in the
it
last
all,
3 years.
besides Marcell
So he's been doing well. Anyway,
Ozuna
that's
from the
again
Braves.
not relevant to this game.
Justin
relevant to the game
Steele
that was just played.
really hasn't been very good.
I'm going to probably leave this game alone, but if I were to bet it would be the Rockies. I mean, at a plus 200, 205, 210 price.
3 starts since the IL.
I'll take the Rockies.
You could also take the run line plus 1.5, which might be a little bit better.
Plus 130, I think, right?
Home runs are
plus 1.5, plus
there
130.
and available.
I see even right now, but you never know. Books are different in that one specifically. And, San Diego looks like as a big favorite, they only get 8 at bats. So there's nothing like a defensive indifference when you're sweating out a run line down 2 runs late in the game. And
Wrigley is
get that nice little walk, get the second on defensive indifference, a single up the middle, and you've covered the run line as the game ends. The next batter moves next to the New York Mets visiting Philadelphia. A weird scheduling quirk. Speaking of, as Philadelphia was in New York and played a day game today, getaway day to go to Philadelphia, take an hour train ride. I think a little bit southwest. We got Joey Lucchesi coming up for his, I think, season debut at Rangers Suarez, who has been awesome. Philly is minus 185, total 7.5. Kyle Schwarber returned for a pinch hitting appearance on Monday night.
It's also
and then actually started today. So it looks like Philadelphia is pretty much healthy besides Trey Turner. Mets bullpen starting to look a lot shakier than I honestly thought was the best part of that team a few really just a few days ago. So Monday night, and what I saw on Sunday and what I've seen a lot with the Mets lately is that awesome bullpen has fallen apart now that Brooks Raley is on the IL, probably getting Tommy John. Got any faith in Joey Lucchesi and those boots coming in?
Another start for Arizona at Tyler Glass now. Looks like we have the Dodgers nearly $3 favorite.
That the price is
right now.
When you handicap these baseball games and you're talking about plus 170, plus something around there, it's like you don't exactly expect to win the game, except for like 2 out of 3 times, right? And then you become profitable, or 1 out of 3 times, or 1 out of whatever the numbers are.
$3 favorite, 275.
You get my point. Bet on the underdog when in doubt. That's kind of what I do in baseball, just because it's such an iffy sport.
World Series
Lucchesi, you don't exactly know. I know that Sanchez has been great. The Phillies have been hot too. They're leading their division. They're beating the Braves right now. But
if you're to do anything, I guess I might flirt with the plus
slight underdog win for me.
I'm not.
Yeah, best team in baseball actually so far. Best record in baseball.
First too much. First 1 to 30 wins.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, for starting the year, pretty. Yeah, thank you. That was probably last night. Thank you, Edwin Diaz. Thank you, Diaz family in general. We'll move next to Chicago and the Cubs visiting Atlanta. We have 1 line out there from Circa, so take this with a grain of proverbial salt. We got Javier Assad at Charlie Morton, and the Braves are minus 160 favorites. Total is 8.
Moving now to some early.
Javier Assad has been really great. No respect this season. Was an underdog on Sunday at home to Milwaukee, or maybe not Sunday, whenever that was. And to me, it seems like the Cubs are potentially learning, or we're learning exactly who the Cubs are with this series in Atlanta. They've been frisky though. They've been surviving with a pretty bad bullpen. Any interest in the Cubs stealing one potentially with your underdog ways?
Are the Astros back?
Yeah. So in my little research, the Cubs have been one of the most profitable teams at home. I'm a little
skeptical.
This is not at home.
Astros hater.
I'm not saying a true believer in
behind the Angels
home field advantage as in baseball as much as I am like college football or some other sports, basketball for sure.
If you were to tell me at the beginning of the year that this would be a single game with Hunter Brown against
Javier Assad,
Tyler Anderson, I believe his name is. I would say
he's pitched well this year. He's 3-0 with a 1.70 ERA. Charlie Morton's old vet. I think
coming into the year, Hunter Brown's awesome.
He did.
He's 2023.
The Braves are a better team.
The first half.
What's the price
year? I want to say towards the end of last season,
minus 160 on Atlanta right here. So it might be bigger than this. It might be bigger than this when everything comes out, but it's right around where I made it. So I figured we'll use it. Yeah, Atlanta. I was close to betting the Cubs on Monday. Couldn't do it. I'm glad I didn't. I just feel like this is one of those teams. I'm trying my best in betting in this general lifestyle. It's just not betting against the best teams in a sport. I feel like Atlanta at home is one of those. Next, we go Dodgers at San Francisco. Get no starter yet confirmed for the Dodgers. It looks like Glass now is being moved to Thursday, not to Wednesday. But Logan Webb is pitching for San Francisco. He's the best they have. Hasn't really been gotten off to a great start. What's your opinion on Logan Webb? And what you think he's going to turn around a pretty shaky start this season with very low strikeouts, and that generally was what he survived with in his career so far, but hasn't worked as well this season.
In the first 2 games.
Yeah, not against the Dodgers.
7 runs.
I mean,
5 runs.
Guys, you talk about not betting against some of the best teams in baseball.
What
it's
do we
like
think
they
here?
just
Total 7.5.
they keep coming at you.
We look at
you
7.
think
by the time
Mookie Betts is good, and then Ohtani hits.
Skubal's great. Cole Reagan's.
It just keeps going. Freddie Freeman. I mean, I think those
he might be good
literally
too.
the top 3 guys in their lineup.
Yeah, Skubal might be the best.
3 out of top 5 best hitters in baseball, something like that. Like certainly 3 out of the top 10. I mean,
I think
they're
all in
the same lineup hitting
Tigers
back to back, and
it's
just
favorite.
looks brutal.
I don't think the Tigers were favored today or yesterday.
It's a tough.
The Royals have been the most
lineup,
profitable team,
and I don't believe
the best
in
team
Logan
at home.
Webb and his
they're at home for
stuff
this one. They
this
seem
year
to have
right
no
now.
mercy there at Kauffman Stadium. Every time I look up on the big inning, there's just another ball in the water fountain.
The Dodgers are.
It's Bobby Witt and it's Sal Perez.
A freight train.
I don't. Salvador Perez is quietly putting together like a top 10.
They're on
hitting
their
season of
they're on
anybody,
their mission.
At any
I have not had a lot of success going against the Dodgers this year. I think that's something that could be reserved for San Francisco at home, where they play a lot better, but they're also
expected batting average?
missing a ton of outfielders at this point due to
I
injuries.
think Gavin Lux poked one to right field and got a triple today. So, I mean, it's just like they just don't stop. The Dodgers don't stop.
Yeah, and that catcher that's I think hitting cleanup is probably the best hitting catcher in the game too. Moving to the American League, we start with Toronto and Yusei Kikuchi at Kyle Bradish. Looks like Bradish minus 125 favorite. We had a rain out, I think, in this series today. Don't think there's a doubleheader scheduled, but this one looks really early. So who knows? But don't have that yet. So total's 8.5 here, which is pretty high considering the Great Wall of Baltimore, plus Yusei Kikuchi gets no respect despite being, I think, one of the best unsung pitchers across all of Major League Baseball so far this season.
The problem is Terry Skubal doesn't hit.
Yeah, I have it as TBD, but Kikuchi's going
3 days in a row.
That's what we have here.
That's good. 7 against Kyle Bradish.
Probably will be closing 7 would be my guess, but very juiced 7.5. I mean, value players, if you want to grab that extra half.
We just talked about the 3 best teams in a row.
Good chance that maybe you see Sal Perez after they've already clinched the series. Might not be in that lineup tomorrow.
They just don't stop. The Orioles have like 3 guys in the minors that I think would bat clean up on other teams.
I think Kansas City's better than Detroit, and they've been treated like they are worse based on the market's opinion so far this week.
They just don't stop.
Moving next to Boston,
I really want to lean
both of our
Blue Jays
closest
at this point because I do think they're undervalued.
At A Brooks bets
in this spot, I'm not so sure, but
Sox than I am.
If you want to quote me
Brian
on it,
Bayo on the road at Ryan Pepio.
Yeah, it seems a little cheap for Baltimore. Maybe we see this number change a little bit when we get to it or closer to it, or maybe this is a line that was put out earlier. But all I can use is what I have in front of me. So
last
and it's early tomorrow, so it might not change that much.
Concerns about home runs in Tampa.
It probably will have some 9 a.m. Eastern time adjustments made, would be my expectation, but we'll see what happens there. I feel like Toronto, I mean, they haven't hit it all this year.
It's been a little bit
hard to back teams that, I mean, I backed Yusei Kikuchi this weekend, and I think he threw 8 innings with only 2 runs allowed and still lost. So, that seemed to me like it really, a lot of times I'm betting starting pitchers just to have good outings and hope they hang around. And it usually has been profitable in my baseball betting career, but sometimes, and I feel like with Toronto this year, it hasn't really worked very well because that lineup is really, really scuffling.
Bullpen is the worst.
And again, it was supposed to be a huge strength, and it has not been so far. Which I mean, I think it has the arms.
Jimmy Garcia's out, I think.
They're hanging in there.
So Jimmy is, they're calling him on this Toronto broadcast. I don't know if they're just like, it's kind of recognize him because he's technically in Canada, but he returned, I want to say on Sunday, was warming up.
All right, well,
but like, I think pitched in a game somewhat recently, but unfortunately they've got the names, but bullpen seems to like be the most difficult thing to figure out. And dominant pitchers from last season, like Eric Swanson, has he's basically been tattooed ever since he came off the IL. So maybe he's not that healthy, or maybe that's just how it goes. If you're in the groove, you got the momentum going, you're a good bullpen arm, and then you get hurt, and it all starts from zero, and who knows what's going to happen, especially when I think that was the Teoscar Hernandez trade. Speaking of negative value players, according to A. Brooks Bets, I believe it was Eric Swanson, a relief pitcher for Teo Hernandez, who strikes out a ton, but I think he hits 25 home runs every year. You can take a watch to to it.
Starts ago.
We'll move next.
Second in the league in RBIs, and that again, Dodgers lineup, which we can't stop talking about.
Yeah,
I feel like
everywhere.
We haven't even mentioned them. It's like literally, you got the Kings at the top, and then any peasants that show up, all of a sudden are going to have huge years.
Make it 21 million, batting 6 to 7.
It was an elbow thing.
I feel I'll bet 9 for 19 million if they offered it to me today.
Sometimes
we got Kansas City, Alec Marsh on the road at Brian Wu, which is a very interesting case here. Wu minus 136 favorite, totals 8, very juiced under, probably see 7.5 before first pitch. Getaway day, and certainly the ball will travel a little bit better in Seattle, but that's kind of an oxymoron at this point. Alec Marsh isn't really a strikeout guy. Brian Wu is supposed to be, but he said he was dealing with some forearm tightness after his start and had been late to start the season, coming off the IL, and then
moving next to Seattle,
supposedly a prize prospect. I mean, he's young and yet he's pitching through things. What's going on in Seattle with Brian Wu? Does that make you want to bet the
Bryce Miller on the road at
What a weird case. Yes, it does.
Nasty Nestor minus 146 at home. Total is 7.5.
I guess they'll have some, obviously all the guys in the bullpen are
first pitch is thrown.
Big league pitchers.
Bryce Miller is awesome.
But he Brian Wu is like hurt and has forearm tightness. You'd think they're like, oh, bang, Tommy John surgery. With the way things, or at least baby for a while until in 2 months from now.
No, he's starting on regular rest.
Yeah, they're just gonna throw him out there.
Rub some dirt on it.
Like, no, this is normal for me.
Competition is not great.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go over in this one. I don't care if it's I'll bet 7.5 maybe. Tommy John by the end of 2024.
I'm not taking.
I would say yes.
I'm not.
I saw a pop out.
I bet you would. If you offered it to me, I would not say no, because probably any pitcher you could suspect is going to happen, especially a young one, especially one that's come off the IL already with arm problems. Because usually, if it's your shoulder at first, I think it was with Wu. You never know when that little UCL either on your thumb for a lot of players like TJ Friedel, but this
who needs a UCL? I think a little bit. Well,
it's a great question. It honestly sounds like a great fantasy team name.
The division is,
I think that's what I named mine after I lost.
Oh, the Mariners keep winning games. I mean, they're leading the AL West. They're also leading the league in strikeouts, and they are the number one team to bet on the under. So
the Rangers have a +3, and everybody else is
I don't know.
Take that, nerds. So under 7.
I'm gonna hammer the Royals.
I'm
gonna hammer the Royals. I don't believe
this
Brian Wu story.
That's definitely not the proven way to success if you like math.
And somebody's probably just ready to go because he's like, oh, Brian's going to get pulled in the third inning with forearm tightness again.
About the high fastball. I think that
Yankee Stadium probably means
Royals been profitable at home. This is on the road. Judge has been on fire. I think the Royals are actually really good.
There.
I really like the Royals at home as well. I am less. I'm concerned about their bullpen.
Money line.
I gotta say, I don't really know that I trust. I'm very tempted by Seattle. I really like Bryce Miller. One of my brethren from across the Atlantic, but I just feel like there's not a lot there that I feel like in their home park. Seemingly they're built for it pretty well. I mean, got a nice photo with Rex Hudler when I was in Detroit actually for the NFL draft. Just missed Jason Benetti, which is hilarious, but oh well. Got the real stud that's out there that I guess was career
being a right
from 200
D-list, almost got the C-list celebrity.
I think a guy that literally would probably be bagging groceries based on his Major League Baseball statistics, but somehow is traveling around talking baseball like he actually was good. We'll move next to
that's what we do.
You at least got a free movie out of it.
Shout out to big bucks to hear that. We got the next one is close to the heart of at Abrams Bets and formerly at the Real Sporting Warner, but I've lost all interest in favorite teams besides my alma mater, which probably I should divorce myself from that as well.
Come on, we're about to get good.
Football's looking nice though. Thank you to the SEC schedule makers. Appreciate that. But we'll start with Tampa Bay visiting Boston. We'll try to get to the Texas Longhorns if we can end of show. Taj Bradley.
Probably because the team they're playing might be the worst in baseball.
Taking on
first start, right?
Pretty heavily to under.
It's his first start, I believe.
Started the season late.
The IL off of Tommy John, I think, or something from a long time.
I don't think it was Tommy John.
This one, so I'll let you have it.
I think he was pitching early last year because I was going down with the Taj Bradley ship.
That's my guy Tanner Houck.
Yeah, Houck minus 139 favorite at home, totals 8.5. He's pretty heavily to under.
I mean,
pretty bad defense from Boston, but Tanner Houck's learned that and pitched pretty well through it already. Just knows don't let the ball go to the fielders, strike people out, see if you can do that. Tampa's doing weird stuff with their bullpen. Their closer has been absent, and Pete Fairbanks with a cut on his finger after
early this week.
I think having a stomach ailment that kept him from even going to the ballpark, and then all of a sudden he was mysteriously on the IL. Something weird's happened there. Hopefully it's not another Wander Franco situation, but Crazy Pete with his crazy eyes, you really never know. What do we think about Tanner Houck in this type of respect? Because to me, I think Tampa Bay is a better team than Boston, even though I'm not really high on Tampa.
Yeah, I'm hoping
but they have to go on the road, and they're not the dominant road team they've been in the past, where it was pretty much just close your eyes and bet the Rays on the road and be profitable, and very profitable. I think it would be at the end of the season
as much as possible moving forward.
Speaking of getting fat off of minus 139 on Boston, so I'd say that's bigger than the like standard home field advantage type of number. It's kind of saying, to me, it's saying Tanner Houck is a better pitcher than Bradley, and the Red Sox are at home.
May 14th.
Yeah, the Red Sox won in extras today. It was
now this episode. I feel like they had a tough road trip to Philadelphia. That wasn't great.
It was also their first division victory all season.
Hey now.
Now only out of 4 chances, so they lost the opener to the Rays, and they've only played 3 division games before this. We're mid-May, and they've only played 4 division games. That's another scheduling quirk that I hinted at earlier.
Way too much
in the show.
That's what you're setting us up for. That's what they call this business the tease. Because I know that the Mets and the Phillies hadn't played yet, and they're doing this weird 2-2 series in multiple ballparks. But okay, so they played 3 games, opened the series. You're saying the Red Sox did at Tampa, have not played the Yankees, have not played the Jays, and have not played the other team I can't think of.
Orioles.
Right now. The Orioles. There we go.
I'm right there with you in this one.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
The Nationals in this game.
Tanner Houck's been
both of these
great.
teams are 2-8. I'm at a crossroads because I love the Red Sox, and I don't think they even really had a chance to compete. They seem to be hanging around, and then you throw that thing at me like they haven't even played any division opponents yet. That's probably a good thing for the Red Sox because the Orioles and Yankees are awesome.
The Nationals
right? I mean, when they play the Blue Jays, it might be a toss-up, and when they play the Rays, it might be a toss-up. But I think that I'm going to take. I've been I think profitable this year on pitchers coming back from injury and like the hype surrounding it.
I mean, it's hard to say.
That's Taj Bradley to me.
When I've backed
and so I'm going to take Tanner Houck
their
and the Red
lineup,
Sox
and I'm
in this
like,
one.
who
yes,
is going to get a hit?
Betting
like,
against
Joey Menez
those that are hurt from the IL.
Yeah,
I feel like
should be
as much as you could say it's you get your rehab outings done, but then again, AAA or AA or whatever level, if they're sending Blake Snell,
it's just not the same.
The junior college league or something like that, independent ball maybe. It's not the same because I mean, it's really hard to take. Like numbers look awful. I think I bet Justin Steele on his return to the majors after a really horrible rehab stint. He was awesome, but the Cubs bullpen blew it anyway. I think similar to you, it's really hard for me to want to back Taj Bradley here. I think the spread is higher than I'd want it to be, or the money line price is too big for me. So I'm interested in Tampa in that way. I think probably my biggest interest is over here, but that's also got plenty of problems with umpires, especially.
What do we think?
I guess it's not getaway day. It looks like there's another game in the series.
I guess I'm gonna let you talk.
Feels like there's really a lot of bad umpires out there, and I don't want to deal with them. We gotta. I guess I'll pick this up a little bit time wise. We got the Yankees visiting Minnesota. Marcus Stroman, Pablo Lopez. Don't worry, just say what you want, and I'll keep us moving. But it looks like the Twins a slight favorite, minus 110 at home. Pablo Lopez. Total is 8. What do we think about this huge Twins win streak? Are they anywhere in the same class?
I did really like.
Are the Yankees first class and Minnesota's coach, or like are Minnesota
the umpires
middle
are
seats
definitely
right
playing
now
for the other team against them?
No, yeah. So the Yankees are definitely first class, and the Twins are coach. But sometimes you can have a party back in coach,
trying to cut
like
down
a good seatmate or something, or maybe you get lucky with the exit row, or maybe you got the whole row to yourself.
Yeah, so I'm off the Mets.
But it can happen. And
unfortunately,
Pablo Lopez is my guy to take me there. Actually, the Twins beat.
He did miss an entire
Yankees beat the Twins today to halt that streak.
The rest of that bullpen seemed to. Once
I mean, this is tales old as time. The Twins make the playoffs and they play the Yankees, and then
they get swept.
Out. Whatever, they are out so fast you never even remember it.
The other guy,
but I'll take Pablo Lopez here.
He's
their ace. He's the guy. He's a guy that I kind of want to bet on all year.
Like reliever.
He basically was Reed.
Stroman is a guy that I want to fade all year. So I mean, if you give me those two things, I'll take Pablo Lopez.
I can't even tell you his name.
It feels like a throwback to my olden days where I just literally didn't care about how much she struck out anybody. I just went for teams on the road that I thought were better, and I really don't love Pablo Lopez, so I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I'll take the Yankees. I feel like they'll probably close a favorite, but at this point, I'm going to wait and see. And if they don't,
I'm going to wait because this Yankees, the Yankees always get money, so I'm going to wait.
Always get money, and so it'd be eye-opening if they don't here, but we'll see. Moving next to Cleveland at Texas. Watch this game very closely today. Texted at A Brooks Bets throughout, just waiting for the eventual collapse. It almost happened. Thank you to the Cleveland bullpen for not surrendering us a 3-run lead when they came in today, which the Mets had listened yesterday. But Cookie Carrasco visits John Gray. John Gray minus 152 favorite, gigantic, but he's been pitching really well. Cookie Carrasco looks like he should be in that independent ball with Blake Snell right now. Total's 8.5, juice all the way over. Cleveland with 2 pretty dominant wins first 2 games of this series. I know you have the Rangers to win the AL West. They are right around, despite having no pitching this entire season so far. How do you feel about the Rangers in this one and going forward?
This is like the Mets are a bad team.
I'm going to fade the Rangers for the first time on this podcast.
And this is the same thing. The Orioles are a good team. The Cardinals are a bad team.
And we saw this big collision.
Deep enough to scare me away. I'm going
short center.
Rokia,
really, it was definitely short center. It was the shortstop really had no business being there. Taking these short favorites. My point of that story is that the dude held on to the ball like it was an out. You know what I mean? Like the Guardians again. They come through. I know it was a nasty collision. Hopefully they're both okay. They both, I think, stayed in the game.
They did.
They banged each other's heads.
And actually, Ryan Rokia, he also collided with Andres Jimenez on a ground out early in the game.
I don't know.
Jimenez, while throwing the Rangers radio broadcast, as I was struggling with my pirating TV connection because I can't watch it. I'm blacked out locally. They said it was roughing the passer. But later in the game, Andres Jimenez waved him off on a ground ball and said, "I'm taking this." So Brian Rokia must be a psychopath.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go over 8.5 in that one. I don't love overs at this point in my life, but I think Carrasco could potentially even offer that himself. Moving a little bit quicker, we got the Oakland Athletics, and I think we got Andrew Brooks pitching at A Brooks Bets. He's
Aaron Brooks,
who probably going to be his only home run.
Thank you.
I wish it was me.
It would be nice.
I'm not a believer in St. Louis. I feel like
Framber Valdez minus 228 favorite, gigantic for how he's played so far. Total's 8.5
in life.
Any interest in your namesake and Oakland, who seem like they're maybe struggling with Houston in this series so far?
Yes, I know.
I believe.
But I mean, plus 195 is what I'm looking at.
Cardinals are
204 even at Bet Online.
Plus 204.
My phone real quick, and
I'm going Athletics.
Maybe that run line.
Best OPS. I guess the Athletics have the best OPS in all of May. I mean, like the Athletics, I'm not sure they're going anywhere. They also have the best closer
titles for.
He's under team control for a long time, so they're the A's. They're probably trading.
But
oh my goodness, this dad electric. We talked about Mason earlier.
I wouldn't have.
But I'm gonna take the A's.
Baseball
plus 200.
Moving next to
I like run line. I've been looking to be against Framber Valdez. I just don't think he's the same. I think he's hurt.
Is that the run line plus 130 that I was looking at?
Might be. Miami visits Detroit in early one getaway day. Trevor Rogers at Casey Mize. I think it was 1-0 in 10 innings today. So 8.5 feels like a gigantic total. Detroit minus 155. Trevor Rogers, you think he gets back on track?
The best team in baseball.
Yeah, Tigers by $1 million in this one.
Whoa.
Go Tigers minus 1.5. I might go Tigers run line.
I know I've been
on the minus side. I just
I'm gonna go.
I looked at this game. Not gonna overthink it. And
confidence.
I
mean, he's
love
been
the Tigers.
really good. I think way better than expectations.
One of those feelings.
Don't really know what we're going to see off the IL.
Casey Mize is going to be rounding into form. Still don't think he strikes
number 1 overall pick.
I don't think he strikes out enough batters, but it seems like Torque is starting to hit the ball a little bit. They just literally didn't score in 10 innings today, so I find it's hard to back them.
It has been.
If you take that run line, minus 1.5, they at least need 2. Patrick Corbin Day, he starts at Garrett Crochet, Washington at Chicago after a doubleheader today. It looks like Chicago and Crochet minus 137 at home. Total is 8, juice to under.
Last game on the list.
Really weird seeing White Sox
alert is what I wrote down. White Sox are favored.
Eastern time. We got the Colorado Rockies and Austin Gomber.
Garrett Crochet,
I don't even know his first name.
He's got some stuff. Whatever.
Not Sean.
He had a good outing last time. He's bound to blow up. Alert! The White Sox are favored.
Any interest in the Rockies, who had a really great streak of wins going?
Whoever
didn't have to travel too
far. If you're watching Apple Podcast, Spotify, or on YouTube, please, if you have the technology capabilities. Please clip that.
No interest in the
into
Rockies.
something.
I guess I'll
move next to
alert.
Last one on the list. We can get into our best bets. St. Louis, Lance Lynn at Griffin Canning, my namesake. Of course, Griffin is an underdog at home, which probably fits into my betting strategies, and it sounds like at 8 Brooks bets as well. St. Louis minus 118 on the road, totals 8.5.
Of course,
two really bad teams, and I feel like St. Louis is not known to be that bad just yet. But we're gonna find out.
I'll go different.
No, do whatever you want. I will.
It's hard to look at these teams in the same light. You know what I mean? Like
there's a lot of,
but they are. They're both.
I'm going
bad.
Brewers. I'm going my man Freddie.
I don't know what to do. I'll probably watch this game.
I don't think the Marlins are very good.
And see who's worse. I don't like betting on teams to figure out who's worse. Like
Freddie's got a potential to shut them all the way down for 6 or 7 innings.
I don't know if that's where the money is. I know money might be in the crumbs, I guess, but it's not enjoyable for me, really. So I'll lean Cardinals because
they got better things to do.
You have to.
Someone once
been good for 10, 20, 50 years.
Someone once said in the gambling community, when you bet on shit versus shit, you get shit. Sorry to all the little kids listening to this podcast. They're back in their dad's car, just trying to really get them into gambling at young ages. But shame on you anyway, Dr. Ochoa. I think from just my feeling here, I like the home dog because I don't like St. Louis.
This is the real underscore G Warner.
So it's time for our bets before we get out of here. Easy for me to say, and we just bet bets. But best bets at 8 Brooks bets. You want to give us yours, and then I'll close this up.
Betting the pitch. You just
I'm taking the Nationals. Taking the Nationals against the White Sox. I mean, you cannot tell me the White Sox. This is the last time the White Sox will be favored all year.
Because really, nothing's on the road until you get extra innings.
Last time the White Sox will be favored. I mean, possibilities if they're at home. That's probably one that's required. Maybe if Miami plays there, I don't know if they will.
Twitter, if you're not
the Nationals are the most profitable team to bet on all year, and they're playing the worst. I don't know about money, bet wise, but the White Sox are the worst team.
I don't know.
Them or the Rockies.
More games this season.
I'm taking the Nationals.
I'm gonna go stay where
I know Patrick Corbin stinks, but he's native to Syracuse, New York.
And that's in Cleveland. I don't actually live there.
Shout out Syracuse North Stars.
Minus 122
at home. I'm gonna cut us in. This is the real underscore G Warner. You're listening to the Major League Baseball podcast, courtesy of the Betting Pitch Podcast Network. You just heard at 8 Brooks Bet say alert about 60 times this podcast because the White Sox are favored. So at 8 Brooks Bets is giving you Washington Nationals plus 126 on this Wednesday, May 15th. Please make sure you subscribe on YouTube at the real underscore G Warner or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go type in Betting the Pitch. Make sure you don't miss any episodes. We're coming to you live